The vibes are high today, fam. The sun is out, it feels great, and I'm about to change your life with this beginner shuffle tutorial. Today we are learning the tstep, which is one of the most iconic moves in shuffling. It is that move that makes you look like you are effortlessly gliding across the floor. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys from the ground up and also making a few corrections to previous tutorials that I've made so that you can truly master this move. So let's start by breaking down this movement. We're going to start by picking up one of our legs. I'm going to pick up my right, standing on my left. We're just going to pivot heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Put your other foot down and do the same thing the other way. Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. My left leg is up. I'm on my right and I'm moving to the left. Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Switch. Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Now I want you to practice this a few times because this movement isn't something we do every day, and you might be doing one of two things. You might be leaning or you might be twisting your whole body. And I don't want you to do that. It should come from your leg, this little heel toe. It's kind of like I'm just picking it up and moving it to the side. Notice nothing is really happening up here. I'm keeping my torso relatively straight and unmoving, right? So to complete this move, all you're gonna do while you're doing this little heel toe pivot is step down your foot. So when I step is when I move over my heel. So my heel comes over and I step down, and then when I pivot over my toe, I come back up. So it's heel, step down, toe, come up to perch. Heel, step down, toe, come up to perch. Heel, toe. Standing on your right, you go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Step your other foot down. Let's repeat on the other side. Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Let's practice a few together, just going 4 to the right and then we'll stop. We're gonna go 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, back to the other way. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so I'm stepping down on the count and I'm up on and. Down on the count, up on and. If you're watching this tutorial, I'm going to assume that you've already learned the running man, and if you haven't, maybe go watch a quick tutorial, learn that, and come back. But that's going to be important for what we're about to do next, which is transition. So let's say we do 3 T-steps to the right. 1 and 2 and 3 and. The way I can switch feet to go back the other way is with a running man. Boom. Running man, up. Now my left leg is up in perch, and I can go, boom, the other way. So this position is your universal transition point. So this is where you're going to easily go from different movements, okay? So the combo we're going to practice is exactly what we just did. 3 T-steps. So we're going to start going to the right. 1 and 2 and 3 and I'm up in perch. I land 4 into that running man, come up to perch again. Now again, I'm in that transition, so I can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One thing you might be noticing is when you do that running man to switch, boom, boom. If you were just to do a normal running man, right, your heel already kind of is pointed in this direction, you see? So it's hard to pick it up again and go in that other direction. So what I want you to start practicing, and this will honestly become muscle memory over time, is when I do that running man, boom, I'm here. When I come up to my perch, instead of coming to a normal stance like this, boom, I come like this. Notice how I kind of flare my heel out? That way it's easier to then, boom, go into that T-step position. So again, instead of 1 and, it's 1 and 2. Okay, so let's just practice that little transition real quick. So we're just gonna go 1 and 2 and. Okay, so remember 1 and 2 and. We'll start slow and then we'll pick up the pace a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna go 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1 and 2 and again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1 and 2 and. Again, remembering to, boom, flare that heel out. Ha, 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 ha. So we're going to go 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1 and 2 and. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1 and 2 and. Beautiful. Let's practice the same thing on the other side because we're going to have to transition both ways, right? Left leg running man. 1. When I come up to perch, I flare my heel out and then I T-step to the right. Boom. Okay, again, let's practice again. 1 and 2 and. Again. 1 and 2 and. Let's try it together. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1 and 2 and. Again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1, 2. Again. 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1 and 2 and. So just practice that transition on both sides until you feel really comfortable. And then let's move on to our combo. So what it's going to be is 3 T-steps to the right first. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, remember that transition, 5 and 6 and 7 and, so 3 more T-steps this way. Running man, boom. Come up to perch, again flaring that heel out, and then we repeat the other way. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Running man, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and running man. Ha! Okay, so let's do that just really, really slow together. So starting from perch. 1 and 2 and 3 and running man, flare out. 1 and 2 and 3 and running man, flare out. 1 and 2 and 3 and running man, 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and running man. Ha! So practice that slow a few times, get really comfortable, and then we are going to try that with some counts together. And again, this may feel funky right now, that transition, especially if you've just learned the running man and the T-step, but I promise eventually it's going to be muscle memory. Just keep practicing, keep drilling that in, okay? Let's do the combo together with some counts. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. One more. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and. Beautiful. Let's try speeding it up a little bit. We go 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's try it with music. Then we're going to continue adding on. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A couple of common mistakes that I see is twisting too much. So I'll see people do like this, or they will lean really far to one side, kind of like I said. So try to keep upright and try not to twist too much. Some twisting is fine, especially as we start to change our tapping patterns. But again, don't try and twist to compensate for this little heel toe. The next thing is start incorporating your upper body a little bit and use a little bit of chest pump as you T-step. So when you're up, kind of think in this perch position, you can kind of think ooh, crunch in, cave in, and then when you step it down, you pop chest out. So it's a ha, 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 running man, ha, 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 ha. Doesn't have to be a big aggressive thing, we're not crumping, but just a little bit of Again, starting to think about your upper body. I know this is a lot to throw at you all in one tutorial, But you can come back to this later once you feel comfortable with the basics. So right now with our T-step, all we've done is just practice tapping to the side. But this move is so versatile and you can really get creative with where you place and step your foot down. So some simple changes you could make could be like a tap back and then tap forward. A tap back and then forward. And then you could go back to out and then forward and then switch and then repeat. Back, forward, or forward, back, side, forward, back, switch, back, 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 forward, forward, kick, ha. You can place your foot in any position around your body, ha. You could step it down fully. You could just tap your heel. You could just tap your toe, 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 toe. So play around with your foot placement. I'm going to show you a very common pattern that I have taught so many times and I've seen so many people do. What it's going to be is you're going to T-step and you're going to tap back. Okay, and you're going to come up and then you're going to tap forward but out. And then you're going to come up and then you're going to kind of step in front almost across your body. Okay, back, I open up and then I close off. So from the front that looks like back, out, cross. 1 and 2 and 3 and switch. 1 and 2 and 3 and switch. And 1 and 2 and 3 and switch. And notice again, when I'm doing that running man, I still come up and flare up my heels so that I can easily T-step into that next direction. So let's practice that slowly together. So it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Ha! 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Ha! So also think about your upper body. I don't just want to go like this, right? Right, notice my upper body isn't changing at all. You want to kind of square off your shoulders with your hips. So when I am stepping across my body, my hips are kind of facing this way naturally because I stepped my foot there. So my hips go, ha, and you want your shoulders to kind of square off with them. So rather than being like this and I'm all awkwardly twisted, I'm like this. So again, that's like 1 and 2, squared off with my hips, and 3, squared off, rotating slightly, and then switch. And I rotate this way when I switch. That would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Also, you can start to think about using your arms here, as you kind of have seen me do, to kind of follow wherever your foot placement is. Ha, 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 ha. I'm kind of doing a pumping action. You could even just like hold it down low. Ha, 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 ha. This is where you can really get creative with it, okay? Also, I almost forgot to mention, there's a second way that you can transition from one direction of T-steps to the other. Let's continue the pattern that we were doing. Back and out and cross. And instead of doing a running man, I can almost do a T-step to transition. So T-step and tap down and just step out. Boom. But notice I'm still, I'm in like a upside down V. If I'm looking at my feet, both my toes are pointed out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer my weight to my right foot. And as I do that, I'm going to pick this leg up and bring this heel over like so. And now notice I'm already ready to go into that position right here. So that's just step, point your toes out, and then come up. Step out, come up, move over your heel. Ha, ha. So it's knees out and then knees in. Knees out, transfer your weight, knees in. From the back, step, transfer your weight to this foot, and boom. pick up your heel, move it over this way, knee in. Step out, move over your heel this way, step over, up. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. But all together it would be like 1 and 2 and you'd go into your T-step. Okay, so let's go over that combo using that transition. Back and out and cross and step, switch, back and out and cross and switch. Ha. Back and out and cross and switch and back and out and cross and switch and back and out and cross and switch and back and out and cross and switch and. Okay, let's try that with some counts all together. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ha, ha, ha. Hotty, hotty, ha. So I've been teaching you these 8 count sequences because they naturally go with the rhythm of music, right? Most dance music is 8 counts, 4 by 4 on the floor, and it repeats every 8 counts, or some part of it repeats every 8 counts, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, repeat. And same with this combo, right? It repeats every 8 counts. So that's why this goes really well. Also, this is where I would like to make a correction. I previously called this little 8 count T-stepping back and forth rocking, but I have since learned that rocking actually originally came from Melbourne shufflers who were called rockers, and rocking was more used as in like rocking out or having a good time, jamming. It wasn't necessarily a move or a sequence, but Melbourne shufflers, rockers style was largely characterized by these T-steps and microbounce, going back and forth in these 8 count movements, sometimes in a figure 8 or in an arch. So I wanted to clarify so that you guys had the proper knowledge when you are talking about these moves. Speaking of microbouncing, this goes hand in hand with the T-step. What microbouncing is basically just these little hops around the dance floor, moving you just like a T-step would, and you even can add in these steps, whoo, just like your T-step pattern, right? Ha, switch, back, out, cross, switch, back, out, cross, switch. So to do this, all I'm doing is I'm turning my back in the direction I want to go, because it's easier to hop your foot back, right, than it is to hop your foot to the side. And I do 2 little micro bounces. I go and 1. And then on the 1, I step my foot in whatever way I want. Again, same creative placement, play around with it, whatever you want to do. But let's just practice what we were just doing, which is the back, out, front. So you go and 1, and 2, and 3, and switch. And then when I switch, I open up this way. So now my back is kind of facing this way. And I go and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And if that doesn't feel comfortable, just practice pumping kind of forward and go and 1, and 2, and 3, and switch, and 1, and 2, and 3, and switch, 1, and 2, and 3, switch. So let's practice that together. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, you'll notice a couple things. With the microbounce, I'm able to take up more space, right? Because with the T-step, I can only go basically as big as my foot is. But with the microbounce, right, I can hop as far as I want. So I can take up a lot more space. Now, the reason I'm teaching you the microbounce is because it is often used by shufflers, myself included, with their T-step to help with this little 8-count pattern that we've been doing. 1, like I said, you can move further, and 2, because sometimes the floor is just sticky with drinks, with whatever, with gravel, and sometimes it is easier to microbounce than it is to T-step. You can do one of 2 things in adding this microbounce to your little 8-count sequence. The first way would be to T-step and microbounce in the same little flow. So you might go T-step, T-step, microbounce, switch, T-step, T-step, microbounce, switch, T-step, T-step, microbounce, switch, T-step, T-step, microbounce, switch. It doesn't have to be in any particular pattern, but you'll find you'll kind of automatically do this just based off of the floor, just based off of the scenario that you're in, whatever's easier, once you have mastered and committed these moves to muscle memory. But that's one way. Another way is you can almost incorporate a microbounce into your T-step. So you can pivot and microbounce at the same time. So that might look like ha, 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 ha. Notice how I'm moving a little bit further, but I'm still pivoting my foot. Ha, 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 ha. So that's kind of combining them into one little movement. And again, adding in that microbounce just makes that T-step a little bit easier, makes you travel further, and really makes you look like you are gliding and floating across the floor. Play around with the microbounce. Maybe you try just doing a little 8-count sequence with just the microbounce. Maybe you try incorporating the microbounce into your T-step. But again, you can do all the same things with the microbounce that you can the T-step, right? You can do all the same creative foot placement. Now, a little bit of upper body. I already talked about you can do a little bit of chest pumping, right? Boom. You can do a little bit of arm movement. That could be pumping down, like so. Ha, ha, ha. It could be static holds. Ha, 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 ha. It could be the chicken wings. Ha, ha, ha. Grab onto your chest a little bit. Ha, ha, hoo, ha. Or you could even get creative with it and do a little bit of like muzzing. Hoo, ha, 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 ha. Whatever floats your boat, but start out simple if you're just starting out, and then get a little bit more creative with it. I know this is a lot to include all in one tutorial, but stop this tutorial at whatever point you want to work on, practice that, get really comfortable with it, come back at a later date, not all in one day, and focus on the next part and keep progressing that way, right? Build onto this movement because it's so foundational. There is just so much to know, and there's stuff that I'm always even still learning. Don't feel like you have to have it perfectly mastered all in one day, but this tutorial is meant to come back to as you progress. And then once you feel like you've mastered the T-step and all these variations and progressions, then you can learn the reverse T-step. The reverse T-step is just as it sounds. Instead of going in one direction, you're just moving in the other direction. This move is on the shuffle vault for when you are ready to progress with this movement and progress with your shuffling in general. Along with the reverse T-step, you get access to 100+ other tutorials, so need I say more? I think not. I'm sweating buckets and I need a water break. So thank you for watching this tutorial. Welcome to the new Shuffle Vault YouTube page. Subscribe if you aren't already, because this is where I'm going to be hosting all the new shuffle tutorials. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.